Alright, so in this video, I'm going to break down the exact process we have when creating an email outline for all the CPG and e-com brands we work with. Let's get to the video. Yeah, I'm just going to walk you through our campaign section. This is the campaign outline we made for one of our new clients, Pocovero. Shout out Pocovero. But yeah, just taking you through the first couple campaigns that we're going to be launching. So the first thing you see is obviously the first, second, third emails, and they're obviously numbered 1 through 19 because we're going to do 19 in the month of August, going into September. And just to keep in mind, this whole outline is essentially the calendar, the type of email, the email outline, and the examples and a few examples that we could create in each email all put together. So it's not like you have to make like one email calendar by itself, and then you got to come up with a bunch of different designs, then a bunch of different examples, and a bunch of different things like explaining what the email should be about. When you're doing this, I would highly suggest doing it something like laying it out somewhat like how I have, in the sense that everything's kind of into one. But yeah, so obviously taking through the first thing. It's obviously the date, August 16th, 18th, 19th, blah, 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 so forth and so on. It really depends on whatever you want to run for your campaigns. We typically do three Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and then a Sunday newsletter. But whatever way you want to lay it out, just make sure that you have it set up as an actual calendar and make sure it's in alignment with pretty much everything. But yeah, so walking through that, obviously that's the first thing. The second thing is the whole idea of a campaign calendar goes into, or an outline goes into three things. It's the type of email it is, and the email outline, and then a few examples to go along with it, right? So whether you're doing this for an agency or you're a freelancer or even for your own brand, this is good to keep in mind, just to always have never like run out of ideas, and you're not stressing about like, oh shoot, I have to make a calendar or a campaign today. Like everything's pretty much outlined a month in advance. But yeah, taking you to the first thing. So the first thing is the idea, right? So the type of email is VT. You're going to see VT and ET a lot. So VT stands for valuetainment, ET stands for edutainment, and then the other two are promotions, discounts, all that sort of stuff, like a promotion, and then the other one is a newsletter. So that's the four ones you're going to see. But the first thing you want to do is outline, okay, what type of email is it, right? VT, ET, newsletter, promotion. Once you have that, you go into the type of email in depth. So the first thing you want to look at is the idea. So what is the actual idea of the email, right? Okay, sure, it's a VT. Yeah, so this one's a VT type of email. What's the idea of it? What's the concept? So this one's, you're either going to love it or hate it, right? And then I don't know why. I think I deleted it, but it said pizza toppings. Yeah, I don't know why that's there. But it's just pizza toppings that you're either going to hate or love, right? And then once you have that, just keep it in mind. So a few other examples are like Pizza Olympics. So this email is pretty much lining up with Pizza Olympics, like compete to win bronze, silver, or gold, just to keep that in mind. Some other ideas are just top 3 pizza myths and facts. Like this is what I always talk about in my videos, like VT and ET, like top 3 ways to make your pizza 10 times more delicious. Weekly newsletter, right? I'll talk about that in a second. Pizza lover, promotion, weird but possibly delicious pizza combos. All of these are about what type of email is it. Like this is the actual idea of the email. So that's the first thing you want to walk through. The second thing in the type of email is the purpose and goal. Now, for people that are like really, really new or just don't want to spend too much time thinking of everything, one thing you can do is you just go to ChatGPT or just one of these AI platforms and you'll search up like, hey, I'm going to make an email about like myths and facts about pizza, and you could just ask it, give me like the top 3 things that should be promoted in that email. Like what should be essentially the purpose and goal of it. And for this one, we just came up with 3 ones that we want to target. So when we give this onto a designer, these are the 3 things that we want to make sure are kept in mind when making the design: engagement, brand awareness, and enticement. Just taking a few other ones, right? Brand awareness again, updates about Pocovero, make this email personalized. Another one is like to grab attention, drive sales, showcase value. These are just the main essentially purposes and goals of these emails. And you just want to keep that in mind, especially if you're going to be passing it on to like a graphic designer, or even if it's for yourself. I mean, you don't want to forget, so it's good to have on there. And then just a little description on the bottom. And the last thing is, this is really optional, it's just helpful resources. Since we are giving this to a designer, obviously we want to set them up the right way. So again, we just really have like really good emails, mill.com, and then some crazy guy on YouTube. But yeah, so these are pretty much what we have for the helpful resources. Again, this is optional, but I highly suggest it if you are going to send it to somebody else. And then another good thing you could put in helpful resources, I don't have to put it here because they already know the brand, but if you are passing it on to somebody else, one thing you could have is just links to their social media, to their Facebook, their Instagram, maybe some past news articles they've been in, maybe some interviews, their website, obviously. And again, those are helpful resources that they could base it off of, because I mean, sometimes they just won't have all the resources they need as far as designs go, articles, information about the brand and company. You could input it there. But yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is the email outline. So this is pretty much the most important part of the email, aside maybe the idea. This whole section right here, and essentially this is where the meat is. So pretty much walking you down the email outline. This is a design outline. Again, since we're not going to be the ones actually designing this specific email, we still wanted to set them up with some good templates to use. So I mean, we made this on Figma. Or we outsource it to Figma. We have it, and we pretty much just pass it on to designers if they want to use it. We already made a few designs using it, but again, this is like where you could edit it, and then obviously like you could edit it through Figma. But again, this is just mainly to give them a rough outline of what the email should look like. Or the next thing I want to talk about, this is pretty much the meat. So here we take you through. Okay, the first thing is we want to talk about headline. Okay, so the Spidey Suds is back. Boom, that's the first thing. That's the headline. We give them a few different options. The subject lines, that's more in the actual, when you're about to upload it, obviously the subject lines, and then the actual meat. So taking you back to the first one, you could see like what's the idea of it. The idea is pizza toppings you're either going to hate or love. What's the actual meat of it? Then this is like where you could actually put in, okay, anchovies, pineapple, spinach. Matter of fact, I could take you through a picture if we have it. So this is what it ended up looking like. Just to give you like a sneak peek of one of the emails we made. But this is pretty much the idea of it. This is a perfect example of like what it should look like. So this whole outline was made for one email. So we gave that onto our graphic designers, and based off everything they saw here, this is the end result that they came up with, right? Poco Vero, dare to try these bold pizza pairings. I don't know if that was an option. I said you kind of go, this is the first email, so I wanted to have a little bit more creative design. Yeah, dare to try the bold pizza pairings, boom, that's, making it come to life. And then step out and blah, 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 a little sub headline, and then just walking you through everything, right? Anchovies and pineapples, spinach and feta, right? What do we have on here? Pineapples, anchovies, and then they added some more stuff. They combined them. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty much what it should look like at the end. And this is like a perfect example of like if you are either making it on your own or passing it on to somebody else, this is like the end result of whatever that looks like. So again, this whole thing pretty much made this. Right, I have a few other examples, but we haven't launched it yet, so I'm not going to leak it. But you get the point, right? That's the main idea. And then obviously you just want to make sure that that's all properly set up. So yeah, that's the second thing. And then the examples, that's kind of minute. Again, this is more if you just want to keep it in mind or you want to send it to somebody else. A few examples, like if you see pick your perfect match. These are pizza toppings you want to hate or love, so you can kind of match them together. This is a good example. This is a good example. And then you obviously have the mix. This is one of our own ones that one of our graphic designers made. Yeah, mix match snack. So yeah, you get the idea. So this is pretty much what, just to give you some context, like this is what the email should look like as far as the outline goes. And then once you give this onto your graphic designer, or if you're doing it yourself, at the end of the day, like this is what it should look like at the end. So yeah, just wanted to give you some context on that. The second thing, well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it as far as the outlines. Everything else kind of goes along. I'll quickly just talk about like other little things we haven't mentioned, like newsletters. Again, really, personally, I don't think many brands do this, but for us, like that's an amazing kind of blue ocean strategy if you want to try it out. Having newsletters is super important. This is a perfect example of it. Shout out Tyler from Points. But pretty much, this is another one of our clients, and he has this newsletter, and this is pretty much what it looks like, right? Of course, his is a little bit more cartoony, to say the least, because it's more a cartoony brand. But again, it's like the things you want to mention are like, okay, how many new customers have been updated, right? One big sale of the week, a few articles in his, we specifically put articles on him, on his, and then the Hummingverse Herald is a kind of bonus one. And then, yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's as far as newsletters go. And then I'll give you an example of a promotion one. Okay, look at promotions. And then here, Poco Vero combo special promoting the dough, wood, and cheese. Kind of a rough outline of what that could look like. And then this is this is another one of the designs we personally made for Poco Vero as well. But this is kind of a rough draft of it. And then obviously what's the meat, a few different headlines, subject lines, and then the actual meat, dough, wood, and cheese. Back in the studio, guys. I hope that video helped you guys out. And yeah, that's how you make a content calendar for all the CPG and e-com brands out there for their email marketing. So listen, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comment section. More than happy to answer any questions you may have. If you have your own CPG or e-com brand that wants to scale their business using email marketing by even 40% on a 100% commission basis, feel free to reach out to us. All our information is down there in the description, Calendly, website, LinkedIn, all that sort of stuff. I hope that God blesses you in every way possible. Talk to you guys in the next video. Peace!